This is Beyond the Front Door podcast with Lindy and Rhea. We're opening the door to real stories from our community. Business owners, leaders, dreamers, and doers, sharing the journeys that shaped them. Our goal is simple: to support, spotlight, and celebrate the people around us. Come on in.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Beyond the Front Door podcast with Lindy and Rhea. I think today is going to be a great episode. We have joining us Adri True and Amber True with the True Troupe Theater.
Yes.
So welcome.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thanks
happy
to be here.
Yes.
Happy to be
And
here.
if you're watching,
Yes.
you can see that we have like some props.
Yes, props.
And some
Hats on.
hats on, yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for bringing us.
Yeah. We're going to talk a little bit about our play this year, Hamlet. So,
Very exciting. So what does troupe mean?
So it is a group of actors or a group of theater people who have gotten together and started, like a group basically who does performances. Troops used to be pretty popular back in like the 1500s. There were minstrel troops that would travel throughout Europe singing little songs or doing little plays. A lot of the time back then those were called morality plays. But as time evolved, it just kind of became a group of theater people who kind of get together and do something.
Is it kind of like a pop-up, or is it like, what makes it different from a regular theater?
So for us, we are what is called a found space theater. So we do theater in all kinds of spaces. We've used abandoned buildings downtown that we had the owner's permission, and we filmed things. We've done plays outside. We've done lots of parks. What's some of the other places, Amber? What are
the Orchard Valley Community Center? We've been to Little America. We've been to the historic high school in Pine Bluffs. We've been to a couple different locations in Centennial. We've traveled as far as Shoshone, Wyoming is I think the
How fun.
Sheridan.
Yeah, Sheridan
further.
might be
Yeah,
farther than
yeah.
Shoshone,
So
but-
we've been all over the state with our plays. So yeah, that's kind of the difference between sort of what we do as a theater and then like what
Traditional
traditional theater. Yeah. And we try really hard to make theater accessible to all people. So we do not charge a ticket price unless it is for a fundraiser of ours. So that's kind of how we do that as well.
So are you kind of like a nonprofit then?
We are exactly a
a
nonprofit. Yep.
Okay.
501c3.
Yep.
So yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I guess to get us started, you two are sisters.
Yes.
So that look like you have a lot of fun together, which is really awesome. Tell us a little bit about yourselves, like how long you've lived in Cheyenne, just a little bit about your family, maybe your careers as
Yeah.
well. Just give us some background on you.
So we're both fifth generation Wyomingites. We were
Word, Wyomingites.
Yeah, that's the word Wyomingites. Yeah.
Wyoming
So both
is not-
generations of our family
Wyomingites.
have been in Wyoming since the 1800s, basically.
Okay.
So between the two families, we've been here,
Forever.
a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, but usually the debate I hear is not between Wyomingites. Almost everybody I know says Wyomingites. How do you say you're from Cheyenne, man? People say it all different ways. I'm a... What did somebody say one time? A Cheyennean. And I was like, huh?
But yes, we've lived in Cheyenne. We both lived in Laramie for 2-ish,
Yeah,
3-ish
about
years.
2-ish
Yeah. All going to school up there. So yeah. We both got degrees from LCCC and from the University of Wyoming.
Okay.
So we
I'm
were
guessing
both,
with some theater involvement.
Yeah. Yep. I have 2 degrees, one in theater and one in music. So yeah.
Yeah,
Lovely.
Adri's got a couple of different things going on there, and then I have my bachelor's of fine arts in acting. I'm also our resident stage combat advisor. So I kind of
Stage
teach
combat.
I kind of teach our combat side as well as directing and doing all of the things.
That's really awesome. I didn't even know. I'm not so creative. That's just not.
okay.
I mean, they say that like over the course of your life, certain skill sets kind of present themselves. So I'm holding out hope that as I get older, some creativity will start to show. But I had a son that was in the theater department at UW for just a little bit. And I remember walking through, and they'd have down one of the hallways, they had like a bulletin board with all different kinds of flyers of opportunities. You're both shaking your heads, nodding your heads like
I remember distinctly.
Yes. And I remember one of the flyers being about stage combat training. And I was like, wow, that is so interesting. That would be so fun to learn. Just what's like a fun component of stage combat training?
What isn't a fun component of
I'm
stage
sure it all
combat
is.
training?
Yeah.
My gosh. I mean, it's quite fun. You know, you get out there, and a lot of people enjoy, you know, doing broadsword or rapier and dagger, and that's all fine and dandy. Don't get me wrong. I love a good rapier and dagger. However,
I mean, who doesn't?
One of my favorite things to do. One of my favorite things to do with stage combat, because it makes it so fun and versatile, is doing found object combat. Because you can take anything, like, for example, you got a tambourine here. We could have a brawl with this little thing. We could just go crazy. And, you know, I mean, you could choose any object that you can find or interact with on stage, and it could become the weapon. And you have to know with your fellow actors how to utilize those tools. So that's something I teach a lot with our people is found objects combat. Because that's going to be one of the main things they're ever going to use. You think about any normal play that you're given, you know, like one example is we did a play called Almost Maine. A gentleman accidentally got whacked with an ironing board in one scene. Whack! It's not something you think about in your everyday staged combat, but it does certainly apply.
Yeah.
So that in almost every play you can think of, you know, maybe for example, you know, even people think about movies like the movie Tangled, where the guy gets smacked with the frying pan. How are we going to replicate that on stage? So that is your found object combat. That's one of my favorites.
Interesting.
Just because it's so bizarre, but it's a wonderful thing to learn for sure.
Well, and I guess to translate that over into real life, it makes me think. So I spent a lot of years working with law enforcement, and one of the things that they talked about, like, let's say you're in a building with an active shooter, for example. The thing that you're supposed to do is, of course, shut the door and try to barricade yourself in. But then you're looking for any object to protect yourself. And so I think everybody thinks it has to be a specific weapon,
like a knife or a gun
right?
or something.
And it doesn't. Literally, you could use anything.
A curtain rod,
a curtain rod, a picture off the wall, a chair,
Yep.
things like that. So it, as you were talking, it made me think that I think sometimes we get really narrowly focused on what it takes to protect ourselves.
Oh yeah,
and it really, you can use about anything.
Oh yeah,
you know.
With stage combat, you can definitely translate those skills into everyday self-defense for sure.
And one thing that when we were in college we did was a lot of law enforcement training too. So like we would do active shooter trainings, and it'd be like, there was one we did together, and of course we were like, we're gonna utilize the fact that everyone knows we're related, because all the EMTs were like,
it's the truth.
It's the truth. Yeah, whatever. So we come out, and I come running, and she's got a gun. They get her gunshot wound in the leg. And so I come running out, and I'm like, "He's got her in there!" And the EMTs were all like,
and your acting turns on.
Yeah, I start bawling. I'm crying. They're like, because
it's not real, and you're like, you just go with it.
But it
and
is.
I'm like, you guys may have to do that someday.
Yeah,
they're like, we know you guys. You're funny. You're this. You're that. And I was like, you might someday have to rescue somebody you know, and it's not gonna be fun.
We kind of ended the whole thing, and we were sort of, you know, winding down. And man, we kind of like de-escalated the scene. We both like broke character and started laughing. They're like,
traumatized.
I walked up. I said, I think we traumatized.
But it was part of, you know, the exercise, and we'd been instructed, like, these guys aren't taking this very seriously because they know all of you and they're expecting all of you to. So we were like, oh, it's on.
Yeah.
Good for you. And I think, you know, really the comfort level that comes with acting, you know, I think one of the things when I've watched my son act, because he was in a lot of the community theater where you could like throw popcorn at the, right? is that you kind of get to be somebody else.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Right? That's really the fun part, is you get to set who you are down and pick up the character of somebody else and just embrace it. And I have huge admiration for anybody that can do that, because I think I would struggle
So
with it.
that's the really interesting part about acting. And that being said, if you don't mind, I'm
Yeah,
going to segue
please
a
do.
little bit into Hamlet,
Yes.
because I'm really passionate about this project. I want to let you guys
Yeah.
hear about it. So, the way that we came about to direct Hamlet is we talked about it for a long time. We're like, this is the longest Shakespeare play. And, we kind of toyed back and forth with ever doing it, because we're like, oh, it's so long, it's so dramatic. People have heard this over and over. People know Hamlet. They just, they know it. It's
Yep.
one of the most famous Shakespeare
If
plays.
you don't, go watch The Lion King.
That was actually my joke when I first put out our call for auditions. I said, please review Hamlet before you arrive, rather than, us doing reading from the script. Please review the script or simply watch The Lion King. But I mean, a lot of different films and television shows and all those things, they're based off of Hamlet. So a lot of people at least loosely know the story. So the concept of it is that we took the script and we kind of have written our own summary of it. And we give our actors, who are all doing improv, the prompt. So, for example, you see on, Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yeah.
A lot of the time they're like, all right, you guys are fishermen out at sea, go. And they do a scene based on, this prompt. That's what we're doing with Hamlet, but we give them the prompt of each scene, and then they go from there.
So it's improv?
Every time
Yes.
it's different.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
my
She came to me with this concept. And I was like, do you think you can pull it off? And she said, I know I can. And I said, why? And she said, I have John Akers, assistant directing with
So
me. And
John
I said,
is my co-director.
okay.
Okay.
And
He's
he
the
is,
improv mind.
I went to school with him. He is an improv magician.
Oh, yeah.
And so
There's certain people who are just good at that. Like they just
Yes,
walk on their feet
yeah,
really
yes.
fast.
And so she says,
I'm not
I
good
think
at
we
that.
can do this. And I said, all right, let's. And it has been magic.
So we've got some interesting ideas, one of which being, okay, we have the summary, and we give it to the actors, we let them improv the scenes. The other thing, too, is the props. We gotta go back to the props. So I have a big suitcase full of props. I drag it over to the park. I'm like, all right, if you guys want a prop for this scene, go find one. They open the case, they just take what they want.
Because it's improv.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you're just
Now, here's the
winging
thing.
it.
For each weekend of performances, I will be going into the case, taking out some of the props our actors have already worked with, and giving them brand new ones, so they don't always know what they're gonna get.
Oh my God.
And hats. And so every time it's a little different. They're fantastic actors. I was going to say it. Everyone has been really embracing. Amazing.
How many actors, how many people are
Our cast
participating in
is
this?
6 people.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So not too expensive for a Shakespeare play. And people said, they were talking to us about Hamlet. Hamlet can't be done with 6 people. There's no way. I said, I watched, I dare not utter the name. I watched the Cursed play, the Scottish play, done at the University of Wyoming a couple of years ago, actually.
At that point,
And they
yes.
brought a couple of actors from London in, and their production company was 3 people. Their stage manager and tech director, and 2 actors. That's it. And they did the entire Scottish play with 2 actors and 1 stage manager, and then they had 3 little actor blocks, and they wore black. That's all they had. And it was good, you guys. I saw that, and I was like, I think we have way too many people in our plays.
Amber looked at
I
that and
was
said,
inspired.
a 20-person cast?
Nah.
So they're
we can
just
do
hopping
6 of
between
us.
characters?
Yes.
Then?
Yeah,
But not changing
so
clothes?
at some point they may switch hats.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
part of the thing. that
Amber
we're gonna-
hat.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yes, we'll trade.
We'll trade.
We'll switch around. Very good. So part of the concept is that they will have a set of characters that they're going to perform each night. Now, they won't switch, say, between scenes. They're going to keep the same characters for the whole evening. But part of the concept is that we're gonna, take a hat or a crown, and we're gonna have each set of characters on, pieces of paper. I'm gonna bring up one of the performers. I'm gonna say, "Come up to the stage," and then I will have one of our audience members pick which characters they're going to play.
Oh my
that
gosh.
night.
It would be so hard.
It would be.
You have to just have no fear. Like, you just have
They
to have such
don't.
confidence
Are-
in yourself. Whatever.
Our performers are very excited. Basically, what I told somebody when they were talking about it, they're like, this concept is totally insane. Like, it doesn't, they're like, it doesn't feel so traditionally Shakespeare. I said, that's good, because I'm trying to bring the play back into the play. We're trying to
I love that.
really, have fun with it. We're trying to make it more unexpected. So that's kind of the whole concept of the idea. And it's really loose and crazy, but it's been a lot of fun for sure so far.
Well, and part of the other sort of like vein of that is that we both have studied Hamlet extensively. I wrote a thesis in college about how Hamlet is actually a dark comedy.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's just him going crazy.
Interesting.
So now I want to hear about the 6 people. How did you pick the 6 people? Like,
So a couple of them did express like immediate interest on working on the project. They were like, "Yep, I'm in." I was like, "Okay, great, that's fantastic." We did audition. We got a couple of people who came and auditioned that way just through sort of that community outreach. But yeah, there were a couple of people who were like, "Amber and John are directing Hamlet. Sounds weird. I'm in."
And then
Sounds
there were some
weird.
of our cast members too who, we've worked with them with previous shows, and we wanted to give them the opportunity to be a part of the project. So we reached out to them and kind of specifically chose them
Okay.
for their acting abilities, because we
Yeah.
knew
well, it's going to be a challenge, right?
yes,
Mhm.
we
yeah.
knew this was going to be a challenging project. So we wanted to choose some of our folks who are for lack of a better term, some of our veterans.
Yeah,
who have
and-
done a lot of our
and,
shows
yeah.
previously.
People who know like sort of Shakespeare too,
Right.
so that helps
Sure.
because then you can be like, okay, Erin really knows the story and Solomon really doesn't, so let's like, she'll explain what this scene actually kind of means while they're kind of sitting in the back.
Now, a real funny secret about Hamlet, I'll let you guys know. It's fantastic. My co-director, Mr. John, he's a wonderful fellow. If you ever meet him, John's a great, very nice guy. John has never read Hamlet. Never.
Oh my gosh.
So, us, myself being the co-director,
Well
being
studied.
very familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of a fun little duality that he
Sure.
has never read the play. So I told our actors, this is all just part of the challenge. We're trying to tell him the story and make sure he's understanding
it.
the cohesive parts all getting put together.
And that probably helps you know if the audience
If the audience will know it.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's been the
Oh.
big thing too, is making sure because we've done our Shakespeare or our Classics in the Park series for this is our 8th year.
No, well,
Yeah, it's our
this is
8th year
8th
classics,
but this is our 10th
Classics, yes, because we've had a couple of extra over the last we had one year where we did 2 classics in a year,
Mhm.
which was already in and of itself a challenge.
Mhm.
So we alternate between a Shakespearean year and then sort of something else, right? So classical theater can extend up to 1926 as of this year. So we go back as far as 100 years. And
I
so
see.
anything previous to 100 years is considered classical. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So our Classics in the Park series always explores classical theater and sort of like those stories. We've done Greek. We've done some Oscar Wilde plays. We're looking
Lot
into
of
maybe doing
Shakespeare.
a French play next year,
Oh, yeah.
or potentially something from actually the 1910s, 1920s to kind of really play into the sort of absurdism vibe of those years. But so we always try and do something classical so that we can showcase sort of these older stories that people maybe are sort of like halfway familiar with. I read Hamlet in high school, I read Hamlet in college, or whatever
Right,
it is.
right.
But you've probably not explored that story. And the accessibility of some of those plays is really only in bigger theater cities. You see, of course, you go to Vegas or you go to LA or you go to New York. Of course, you're going to see lots of people doing Hamlet
Yeah,
or doing,
yeah.
Much Ado About Nothing, but you don't see that in small rural theaters. And so one of our big ideas about rural theater is that we like to, make sure that people understand sort of some of these nuances of theater, but also get to kind of experience it in a more digestible way.
That's very awesome. I guess I didn't even realize classical theater would be considered something that's more than 100 years ago. I'm learning a lot today.
Yeah.
So then is there something coming up you're waiting for it to be 100 years and excited to do?
Oh gosh. Not at the moment.
Okay, I was curious.
We actually there's one that a couple of our sort of more like sort of well-read theater people are really interested in. Ellen is really interested in it. But Pygmalion is actually in the it's now in the sort of open source domain, and so
Okay.
that is a play that they're really excited about. It's what My Fair Lady was based on, and
Sure,
so they're all
yes.
like, "Oh my gosh, that'd be so!" I'm like, "Okay, guys, calm down. That's a long play."
It is. That one's long.
Yeah,
So
and so
interesting.
that's the big one. Usually, when people hear classical theater and they think about classical theater, of course we go to Shakespeare, of course we go to Faust.
Right.
Our resident stage manager, Brielle, she's really excited that we might be able to do Tartuffe, because she speaks French, so she's like, I could translate the play, and I'm like, that sounds like you need to get started now. For 5 years from now.
I know her
So-
and I were discussing it. She's like, I love French, and we could do this and that. And I'm like, I could be your co-director because I hate French. Why don't they say any of their syllables? She's like, oh my goodness.
Well, and that's a fun. We've jokingly joked about Cowboy Tartuffe a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
remember
that eventually, if you see Tartuffe, it's gonna have a cowboy hat and a big mustache. So
What's
just be prepared for
Tartuffe?
that.
It's a play.
It's a French
French
play
play.
about a.
Okay.
It is translation is the scoundrel. So yeah.
It's quite a funny. Now, if you read it, it sounds real stiff and high
It
society.
also
and
depends on
very
the translation
proper.
because
Right.
when it was translated from the original French into English, they were still using sort of Old English.
Like proper.
Yep. And so
Sure.
some of those rhyming couplets sound clunky because they tried to translate the rhyming French to rhyming English, and it does
Sure,
not
not
work.
work.
So you've got to find a translation where somebody actually tried to stay true to the script rather than true
That's
to the
probably a
rhyming
lot
of
of
it.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun. There's so many plays that you can find that are translated differently, and so that's also some of the fun of exploring. Okay, whose translation are we using this year? What translation might we be? Even Shakespeare. We have to go through and sometimes translate things because
Different editions,
Yeah,
different versions.
yeah.
Oh,
the
Sure.
first version, the first production we did was A Midsummer Night's Dream, and we went through, the two of us took 4 weeks and translated it from Old English into just modern English, and that was different,
Wow.
just
So
to try and
interesting.
make them a little bit more accessible. So
I still
Love it.
remember when we worked on now with some of our scripts we don't necessarily perform the full version.
no,
To
Sure.
perform a 5-act Shakespeare would take about
3.5 to 4 hours.
3.5 to 4 hours, depending on how long it is.
And how long do people sit?
An hour and a half.
You know it right off the top
I'm
of your head.
like, if it's longer than an hour and a half, people complain.
Yeah.
And you
did.
need an intermission at 90
Quite
minutes.
a long
Yeah.
time back, we did a cabaret where it ended up being closer
3
to 3
hours, and people left at
People-
1.
People were very
Huh.
nice. A lot of people left very graciously at our intermission and did not come back. And a lot of people stayed. We had quite a decent audience for it, but we had, a lot of people leave at intermission like, this is it, I've had too much singing.
This is
And
it.
then,
Yeah.
we had, quite a number of folks stay, and, we got to about 2 hours, and they were like, that's it, I can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
We had maybe 3 or 4 people.
Our
who
mom.
stayed
It
for
was
the
our
full
mom.
3.
Let's be
Are you-
real.
it
It was
was your
always
mom?
our mom and my
Oh,
little
mom.
sister.
Shout out to
But
mom.
we had maybe 3 or 4 people who stayed till the very end, and then those lovely audience members, they came to us, they said, that was a wonderful show, gals. Do you think you could possibly make it just a little bit shorter next time?
We were
They
like,
were our
well,
true fans.
we were like, listen, we tried to rein in the director. There was no stopping her.
It
kind of, it makes me think. So Rhea and I, well, first of all, I'm like shocked at the talent in Cheyenne.
Yes.
Rhea and I went to the Cheyenne Little Theater this year and watched 1980.
Oh yeah, so one of 1984. So
84.
one of the
Yes.
guards,
1984.
Cade, will actually be in Hamlet.
Oh, really? Oh, we were
lovely.
like, holy cow.
Yes.
They were so good.
Yes.
It was
You
really good.
sit there and you think, this is just a normal person in our community. Like, that's what I kept thinking I was like, I mean, that person just has a normal job.
Yeah.
And they're like
Yeah.
acting very well. Also, Rhea and I hadn't been to a play in a long time. And we were like, when is it over? Like, we didn't want it to be over. But then when there was an intermission, we didn't know if like the second half would be shorter or the
Yeah.
Typically,
Yeah.
the second half is supposed to be shorter.
So we were like,
Yes.
okay, because but it was really good.
Yes.
It was really
I
good.
was just shocked at I didn't know
It
a
was
single
intense.
person. I
It
mean,
was
we knew
really
one
intense.
actor.
Yes.
We went to watch Warren,
Okay.
and because that's the only one we knew.
Yeah.
And then we had John Little on,
Yes.
and so he had told us he was directing
Yeah.
it. And we were like, yeah, we'll
Yeah.
come watch it.
Yeah.
It was super cool. But
Oh,
I just am
fun.
like shocked at
Oh yeah,
what people can
no,
do.
There's a couple of those guys. Probably one of the other guards, tall man named Buddy. He helps with our haunted trolleys every year.
Okay.
So we also through Visit Cheyenne, if you ever go on their haunted trolley experience, we are the ghosts.
So I do,
yeah.
I do have a story about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We went on the haunted trolley this year. We rented the whole trolley.
Yeah.
And we got to the first place, and these people were like fighting. And my husband's a police officer, and it was the first one. We didn't know there was like actors doing things. So we pulled up in front of the parking garage downtown, and these two people are fighting.
Yep.
And I'm like, what is happening right now? And my husband like looked up, and I was like, do not get out. Like I was like, you're getting out and doing police stuff right now.
Oh, yeah.
We're on a family trolley.
So
And then we we were like kind of sitting there, you figure it out.
Yep.
But yeah, each stop they had
Yep.
people standing there like dressed in character.
Yep. And so that stop actually, so I every year it's me and my resident stage manager Brielle, and we are in charge of like driving around, making sure everybody has their walkie-talkie,
like, long
making
distance
sure that
radios.
everybody is in places, that nobody needs us to bring them a costume, or like, you know, if it's cold, if they need an extra like shawl or a cape or a hat or whatever. Or water. And so we had to go every time that Andrew and Tim would start their fight, and we had to sit in front of
Just in case.
the parking garage, and
call
we had to yell, and we had to be like, "Those are actors. Please do not call the police. We understand that there are fights down here."
That's what we thought. I was like,
yeah.
these are homeless
Well,
people fighting, and I don't know what we gotta stop
Yeah,
them.
and part of it is that the Crown Bar is right around the corner.
Sure.
So people would come out of the Crown and they'd stop and they'd be like, "Oh no, there's a fight!" And every
it looked
time,
real. And for a minute there, we were like, I thought
It
it
must
was
be
real.
good acting.
we would. Oh yeah, they were great. Amber gave them a little bit of stage combat training, and they were on their way. The problem was they were so good at it.
So funny story
Yeah.
for the haunted trolleys. We were up at the Capitol.
Yes,
Now, I don't
Amber
know if you ever
was.
saw us
Yeah, I think
fighting
we-
as the
yeah.
politicians.
Yes, we did. By then, we
Okay.
were
By
like,
then, no one
yeah,
was
you were
concerned. Yeah.
well-versed.
Also,
However-
it's at the Capitol, and they looked a
However,
little
the
more like
homeless
ghosts.
So the people,
I
the
was
people,
there for the homeless lady. You guys know this is the story you're telling.
the people who work at the
We were so
Capitol
confused.
were not made savvy that we were going to be there.
Oh no.
Yeah. So all these night
Luckily, we were not
stories.
fighting that day. I was like by myself, so I thought, well, I'll wear, because they have a story about this lady who wears a long dress and walks through the windows of the Capitol. So I'm like, you know what? I'll play tonight the lady who wears the long dress and walks through the windows of the Capitol. So I'm wearing this long, old-fashioned dress. I got like the pale face makeup on. Like, I looked physically dead. And apparently I was less concerning wandering around, like laying there looking like a corpse. I myself doing this was less concerning than a woman peeking in the windows on her bicycle trying to get into the state buildings.
Oh my
Because he was like, well, that lady looks dead, but she doesn't seem to be harming anybody, so I'll go deal with the other lady.
The one lady was there when we came by, and she started doing
Yeah.
things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like
Like what?
just like weird movements.
Yeah, like weird hands. Yeah.
This person is not part of this. Like I was like,
Oh, no.
I think she's just doing her own show now.
Lindy was like, "That woman's having a one-woman show, and I don't think we're supposed to.
part of
I
it.
don't think we're supposed to be privy to it."
I don't think we paid for this one.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
how
At one
hilarious.
point, we had Cade and Amber, and they would start this little
So we're
fist
out
fight
there on
at the
Capitol.
Capitol.
You know, we're fighting. We're like yanking on each other. He had a cane, and so you know,
Yeah.
found object fighting. We're out there yanking back and forth on this cane, having a great time. And the security guard comes out after the trolley leaves. Luckily, we're like, oh, good, he's not here for the audience. He comes out. He's like, hey, you guys, knock it off. And we just stopped. Oh, hey, how are you? Because I had met him a week before, being the ghostly lady. He goes, oh, it's you.
I can't imagine being like a security guard coming out and yelling at people to quit fighting and having them almost like pop up and be like,
Like,
"Hey!"
Yeah.
we're fine.
Yeah.
We're fine. We're just fighting. He's like, oh.
That has got to be like the best night of his life, though. He's like, oh my God.
Thank
Yeah,
God.
thank
It's
God I
just-
gotta do anything
It's
here.
just the theater,
Well,
people.
I'm impressed because you guys were committed. Because there
Oh, yeah.
were times we'd go, and I mean, the actor or actress is doing, I mean, like just pacing. Like if it's a ghost,
Yep.
you know, just pacing on a porch, and you're just like,
Ah,
and they don't.
I gotta
stop.
do it this year now. I've done
Yeah.
the Christmas trolley. I've not done the haunted trolley, so
Yeah, we
that's
did.
now on my
Well,
list
and
for
that
this
does
year.
a little bit segue us into just our upcoming events, kind of
Okay,
some of
yeah,
the things
yeah,
we're
let's talk
working
about
on.
that.
Yeah.
Are we
Um,
talking about Hamlet, like when and where and all that
Yes.
as well?
So,
Ooh.
you can go ahead and give the dates for
So,
Hamlet because I remember them
Upcoming
vaguely.
upcoming dates for Hamlet. We are performing July 25th at 6:30 p.m. in Centennial, Wyoming. Then we will be performing in Laramie, Wyoming on July 26th on that Sunday at 1:30. Then we'll be coming back to Cheyenne the next weekend. That's kind of like at the tail end of Frontier Days.
It'll
so
be August
that'll be
1st
why we're
and
heading
2nd.
out.
Yeah.
Yep, and then on July 31st, we will not be performing, but our troupe is the nonprofit
Yes.
that is featured for the city downtown on the depot.
Oh.
Yeah, for the
down
band
there
Lit,
For the
so,
band Lit.
yes.
And we'll be
Ooh,
promoting.
cool.
So please come down and
Yeah.
see
Oh,
us on
fun.
the plaza.
Get
during
lit with True Troupe.
Get lit with us.
Yes.
But our Hamlet cast will be there, so you could like meet the actors and like chat
Sure.
with
Be
them,
out
and
there
so then you could get to
playing
know
with our
people.
stuff.
yeah.
And then we're also doing an ice cream fundraiser on July 3rd with Choo Choo Moo. So if people wanted to come down and get ice cream,
Okay.
learn a little bit more about who we are, what we do, how to get involved, that sort of thing, we'll have those going on.
But then our final two performance dates, we will be back in Cheyenne at Holiday Park. Our spot is behind the Cheyenne Artists Guild.
Okay.
In
yeah.
in
We've
Holiday
had them
Park.
on, so
Yeah,
we
yeah.
went there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Usually, the reason we perform right behind the guild is because it's a really good landmark. A lot of people know where it is
Sure,
in the park.
sure.
And it kind of blocks you from
And-
the traffic.
And
Yeah,
it blocks
yeah.
a lot of the noise of our traffic too. Like, even we go to Lions Park and we try and perform at the amphitheater, and it's so noisy there. It's very hard for people to hear sometimes. So that's one of our favorite locations.
Sure.
Behind the Artists Guild at the Holiday Park, just because it's so quiet.
Is it because there's do the trees
The
kinda
trees
surround
help.
you?
The Artist Guild blocks like a lot of the really bad traffic
like on
from
Maury
Lincoln
there
Way.
and
Yeah, and
okay.
Maury, and so yeah, and then there's also 2 parking lots kind of around there, so it makes it a little bit easier for people to
Mhm.
find parking, bring their chair, walk over.
It's a great little location. So if you
Yes.
guys wanna
Yeah,
come on
yeah,
by,
yeah.
Our performance dates for Cheyenne are August 1st and August 2nd. 6:30 on Saturday, 1:30 on Sunday. We'll do
Okay.
You bring a lawn chair. Are there
Yeah,
seats?
we
What do you
suggest
do?
bring a lawn chair, bring a
chair,
blanket,
bring
yeah.
a blanket,
Bring
hang out
an
on the
umbrella,
grass.
we always like just whatever you're gonna bring if you were going on a picnic,
If you
basically, yeah.
want, I will make you participate.
So seats in the back.
Yes, yes, that's always my recommendation.
There,
Don't
not too
stumble the
much.
splash shows.
Not too much. Not too much.
We actually have a woman who we work with who she showed up to a play one time with another woman that we know, and she was like, Amy, why aren't you wearing your disguise? So it does happen. Us theater people are weird.
Oh, yes. I love it. So fun.
Jan, who thought they were gonna put on a disguise, Jan? So that is,
love
kind of our
Cheyenne.
upcoming things. Of course, we'll have our haunted trolleys. We do a lot of stuff for October, just with our
So you
haunted
guys are who
trolleys,
do the haunted
houses.
trolleys. You're the ones
We're
that
the
provide
ones
the
who,
acting.
We
or
are the
whatever.
ones who provide the acting. Visit Cheyenne does all of the trolley setup. They split the
Sure.
script duties with us, so we do like.
But guess what? They don't tell you.
I did not know.
They do not tell you
Yeah.
anything. They're in on it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yes. Yes.
How
I'm never
fun.
gonna forget the first one. I literally told my husband to sit down. He like got
Sit
up to
down.
look, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's gonna turn into a police thing."
Yeah.
Like, please.
You were like, "We're on, baby. I rented out this trolley. Do not get off."
Do not get off.
They're not going to turn around and come get you.
Where you gonna meet us, dude?
Awesome. Okay, so you do a lot of stuff in October.
Yes. We have our caroling also that we do in December. So one
I
of
love
our
that.
only volunteer. We try every year and pay all of our actors. So we don't do it as a volunteer project. We try and take any funds and those go straight back to our actors. So they get a little bit of a stipend for performing. The only volunteer project we do throughout the year is our caroling. So we last year we went to 17 different nursing homes and group homes within Cheyenne. Our goal is always for about and the Boys and Girls Club. Our goal is always for about 20 locations, just so that we can provide that service. We had a couple of people who've paid us to come carol, and we always will, happily do that. But the big thing is that we try and get to people who are not able to get out in the
Immobile.
snow and kind of maybe like homebound, maybe sort of like that thing, and maybe they have like a place they go for care every day. We try and provide that sort of like holiday cheer. We've gone to
Now,
several nursing homes and things like
Someone
that.
asked us. They said, "Well, why don't you guys go door to door?" Fun fact: it is illegal to go Christmas caroling door to door
Unless you have a city permit.
Correct.
That's unfortunate. You
Yeah.
should be able to go caroling door to door.
It was a law, I think, passed in the 1890s. So that's a weird one.
Oh, weird. In the
Yeah.
1990s, they were like, "No."
They
we're
said
not.
they said they let those
it.
theater kids
That's
loose to
enough.
sing. We can't do that. So
Can't do it
yes.
anymore.
That was too much. But yes, so we don't, we typically go to all of the sort of nursing homes, to some group homes where people live. It depends on who contacts us and what we do. We try and get a lot of out in the community and go do that. We have several little kids who go with us, and then like our grown-ups, and so it's just an entire big group. We usually have about 10 to 20 of us who go carol at a time.
Yeah, just
So that's one of our like last projects of the year.
How fun.
oh my.
Yeah,
I
and
love it.
I think we have do you have other projects in October for the Queens and Kings?
Not that I know of currently.
Usually we have like sort of a Halloween themed drag show, which is one of our fundraisers throughout the
How
year.
fun.
So
I believe
yeah.
that they're scheduling that like in early October.
So they typically do that as a fundraiser for True Troupe. So
Yeah,
that's a really good one too if you want to get tickets and like go to something kind of fun Halloween themed to
Yeah.
get your costume on. They always do
Well,
a
we love
costume
Halloween.
contest and
We've
stuff.
done
We do.
Halloween episodes. We dress
Yeah.
up.
We did we went to the haunted houses.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do have a good time with
I was
Halloween.
gonna say we've been the actors for the Civic Center for a long time as
Ooh,
well. So
yeah.
if they're doing their haunted houses again this year, you might
You
see
do
us
that.
there. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep. We're very busy in October. My goodness.
Whenever we
I know.
wite our season meeting, we go through the season.
Yeah,
And we talk about
our
like here's the
and
shows.
awesome
We
things
did
we're
a play
doing.
called Adults this year, and so that started our. But you go through, and we get to October, and we just have written October because everyone who's there for the season meeting knows
We're
like,
all
okay,
right, we're all
we've got
hands on
the
deck.
like if you're available in October, let
No,
us
you're
know.
not. No, you're not, because now you're working for us.
Right.
That's
That makes sense.
Yeah, our
love it.
friend Katie is always just like, all right, I've planned my haunted houses for these days, and these days for me to go to Colorado. So here's the days I'm available. We're like, thank you in advance.
Oh, I just love you guys. I love everything you're doing and the improv nature of it all. It's
the
just so much
energy
fun.
and
Yeah,
the-
the
Yes.
energy.
Well, and we do a ton of different varieties of plays. We try and do sort of like, we try and a little something for everybody, I think is a great way to put it. We try and showcase not just like, sort of classical theater, but we also have done, we had a woman named Katie Overstreet who wrote a play about Nellie Taylor Ross's life. And no one was doing anything for the 100-year anniversary of Nellie Taylor Ross being the governor of Wyoming, the first female governor. So we managed to get a sponsorship from the Old West Museum, and we did a play for it. Amber, then dressed as Nellie, drove over to Laramie and was part of an event that they did over at
the Wyoming Women's History House. Didn't
They're like, Nellie, can you please come to
They
this
did.
event? You
They
stay in
did.
character and you
She
go
did.
as Nellie.
So
She
there
did.
was a snowstorm. We were actually going to take our whole cast up there, but there was a big snowstorm. Everybody said, "Oh, I don't know," and even I was like, "I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it." Well, I got up that Sunday morning. It's pretty icy and snowy. I thought, you know what? I'm doing it. So I drove all the way up to Laramie in a snowstorm. I called up my former professor of all people, and I said, "Hey, do you want to go with me to this event?" She goes, Dr. Cecilia Aragon is my former professor. I said, "Do you want to go with me to this event?" She goes, "Well, give me 10 minutes. Let me get dressed and come pick me up." So I said, "Okay." So we went down there, and the folks who were hosting the event weren't necessarily expecting us. But I showed up in costume. I'm like, "Hey, I'm Nellie Taylor Ross," and
And they
I'm
were
here
like,
to just,
"Oh
you know,
my
be a part
God,
of the
you're
event."
here.
They said, "Great. Come up here, stand on this chair. You're going to read the proclamation." I said, "Oh, okay."
And then they tried to get her a microphone, and she really didn't need it.
Need one?
Well, so in the building, I stand up on the chair. They said, "Go ahead and read out the proclamation." So on the microphone in the building, I read out the proclamation. I'm like, I think it's so echoey in here. They can't hear anything I'm saying anyway. So we read the proclamation. They're, all gathered around. The whole event was that they invited 100 ladies in hats, funnily enough, to join this event and get their picture taken from the Laramie Boomerang. And so outside the Wyoming Women's History House, they had a photographer on the second floor across the street. So they invited all the ladies. They said, "Ladies, please come outside." Oh, on that note, let's trade.
Oh, yeah.
I said, "Ladies, please come
All right.
outside."
I
with
had
your
this one
hats."
already.
Yep, here you go. Here you go.
Yeah, trade. We gotta have something different. Oh, yes, there we go.
There you go, Rhea.
So they
Perfect.
said, "Ladies, get your hats. Let's all head outside. We're going to take the picture." And so everybody's outside, and everybody's kind of chaos. Where do we stand? Where are we looking? And, none of this was, scripted or anything. We're just like, we don't know what we're doing. It goes back to the lovely improv aspect.
Yes. Yeah.
And, I had my script from our play with me, and I thought, somebody's got to organize these gals. So I walked up to the front, and there was a little stone bench on the end of the, kind of plaza.
All in
I walked
heels,
up
mind
to
you.
in heels, yes. So I walked up to this little stone bench. I climbed up onto the little stone bench, very dainty-like, and I shouted out, "Excuse me, ladies!" And they all. Oh.
She didn't need the microphone.
I didn't need any of the microphone.
No.
The speaker set, nothing. I had it all. They're just, "Oh, okay." I said, "I'm going to read a small excerpt from one of Miss Nellie Taylor Rouse's speeches." I read the excerpt from her speech. I said, "Now, if you would please direct your attention to the photographer. He's across the street."
They were like, "Oh, thank God,
They said,
someone with
"Oh,
direction."
There's the photographer.
She's like, "Turns out I'm a director. I know how to do this.
Yeah.
How to
So
direct
that was
people."
lovely.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
yes. The ladies, they were, "Oh, okay, here we go."
I love it. I absolutely love it. Okay, so because we need to wrap up
Yes.
soon, but I have 2 questions for you, and then
Yes,
Lindy
ma'am.
has a question for you.
Okay.
My first question is, where is the
Yeah,
theatrical gene
I
coming
wanted to
from?
ask the same thing.
so
Same question. Yeah, where'd it come from?
Where'd it come
what's
from?
what's weird is none of our family has been theater people. None of my mom is like, "That's so fun for you guys."
That's so fun for you.
We've done theater since we were kids.
Yeah,
We'd
yeah.
be hosting entire productions. in
We
house.
would do the
had a whole bunch
news
of
for our
dogs.
parents when we were
We'd
young.
do news. We'd do.
Oh.
Okay, today we're going to be performing Cinderella.
Yeah. But I don't actually. I mean, our dad did singing telegrams for a while.
Singing
But, like,
telegrams?
Yeah, there's some stories, Ray.
Well, I
if you
think
ever
we need
want to
to
hear
have
some
Kevin on
wild
here.
stories, like, yeah.
We would
Yeah.
like a singing telegram.
Grab-
I know. I'm like, but so that's like the only like real like, yeah. Like, there's no real, like, yeah, your grandpa used to do shit. No, there's none of that
Just
in our
2
family.
sisters that started a thing.
And not only that, we both started theater in, like, our late teens. We were not like theater children. We weren't like
I mean,
the kids
we
who
were, but
but,
we
like,
just did our own.
yeah, we weren't the
routes.
kids who our mom took to like theater classes or anything. So we have a bunch of people who are like, "Oh my gosh, I'm a theater kid." I'm like, "I guess we are, but like in the weirdest way."
I
So
love it.
yeah, we both kind of got into theater, and we were like, "Hey, we should do this thing." So, and
How fun.
part of when we started in 2018 was to provide more opportunities to people who maybe don't, aren't always in the spotlight.
They
So
are just traditionally cast.
yeah. So,
Sure.
a lot of times like musicals, you'll see, there's like a need for like 25 men and like 4 women, and especially for women who are maybe like not 20, you get like, "Oh, you're Randy Wench number 4 or whatever."
Yeah.
And so we wanted to also provide opportunities for like women who were like, mom
Yep.
aged or like grandma aged to be able to like actually have a role that felt substantial,
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I love it.
So that's another big focus of ours as well.
That's very sweet. Okay. So, really quickly, what would each of you consider to be the number one leadership trait for a person to have?
Ooh, leadership trait. That's a good one. I think that you have to have a certain amount of empathy. I think too much empathy as a leader can lead to being, sort of bowled over. But I think as a leader, you have to have sort of leadership grounded in empathy. You cannot lead from a place that is, sort of cruel or unusual. You have to be able to look at a situation and say, there's stuff going on here. We've got to figure it out, and we've got to have a compromise.
I love that.
And so you can't lead with, no empathy, and you can't lead with too much empathy.
That's a great way to say that.
great answer.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think also another thing about just being a strong leader, because we got a lot of strong leaders in our troupe. I mean, we've got a lot of people who act, but then they'll also direct with us. We've got a lot of people who will help stage manage, and all of these different capacities.
Yeah,
have
they're
to have
willing to
some
jump in
aspect of
wherever.
leadership. And especially with Hamlet, I've kind of tried to let a little bit go of some of that really strong leadership, because I want it to be a collaborative project between our actors. I want them to be able to come on really strong for that improv aspect.
Have some ownership in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Have a lot of ownership in it, especially with its being improv. So I don't want to over direct them too much.
Yeah.
So I think part of being a really strong leader too is knowing when to let go a little bit.
Oh,
Great
yeah.
answer.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
For me,
Right.
that's what directing is.
Yeah.
Knowing when to let go.
Yeah.
Which is
That's great. Okay, so 3 of us are real estate agents here,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
we have to have like some kind of real estate question. Okay, so my question is 2-part. The
Yeah.
first one is, what this stage in your life, what does home mean to you? And then,
Okay, so she just bought a house in December.
Yeah.
So
then you're gonna
yes,
love the second
yeah.
part. The second part, after you tell me that, I want you to tell me what attracted you to your house. What was it?
Oh, okay. So I'll let you think, because I've got it. So I had actually so the second question, what attracted to my home?
Yeah.
So at the time, it was actually this is my second house that I own currently. When I bought my first house, it was in my price range and it had a 2-car garage. So
Yes.
let's go.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
It was 2019 and I was qualified for 175. So use your
And you
imagination
could still buy a
to
home for
you could
175.
still buy a home in that price range at the time. Although Amber did buy her house for $200,000 in December.
Ooh,
So it's not
congratulations.
impossible, but you've got to be willing to put in the work. So,
my gosh.
yes. But so I'm looking at this second home. It has this beautiful 40 by 40 shop with these like 17-foot high sidewalls. And I'm like, this garage is amazing. We walk into the back of the house and there is this gigantic room. It's 31 by 34. And so for the last 5 years of me owning the home, we would often have rehearsals in that big room if we had a pretty small cast play.
Okay.
That being said, the rehearsal space is now going away and we're converting it into something else. So our last production in the space was actually our play called Adults by Maisie Broderick Scarpa, which had started in 2019, which kind of brought us this full circle sort of closure from the Stinson house to the third house. So it's also on a half acre. So when we need Classics in the Park rehearsal,
Sure, you can go outside.
We can be outside and be at the house and have, like a nice space there. We've talked about doing like sort of open dress rehearsal nights for classics where it's sort of an exclusive event. We could have like a little, sort of accoutrements, if you will, and people could come and sort of like invite some of our biggest guests. Mary Guthrie is like sort of like the top of that. We were like, who would we invite? And everyone's like, obviously it's Mary Guthrie.
Yeah.
But so that is kind of why I love it's so versatile. There's also a stained glass unicorn, which that's
Oh my
that's
God.
yeah. I'm like that's my favorite part of the house. But
yes.
All the creative nature
Yes.
of it.
Yes.
That's why you chose your home. I love it.
That, and then Lindy, will you repeat
What
the
does
first?
home mean to you right now in this stage?
In this stage of my life. Okay. Oh, I like that. I like that. I think home is where you can breathe. I think that's a really good, Wyoming has always been home to our family for generations. But part of it is, there's room to breathe. There's air, there's, space, there's the mountains, there's the, national parks and everywhere. So I think that's, I think that's it. I think that's, what home,
Love it.
I agree. A place to decompress, place to relax. Also, just a place to feel like yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's a really good place.
So Amber, why did you choose your home?
Because it was 200,000 and there was pretty much nothing else in my price range.
No,
that's a great attraction
It's
to a
so
home.
true. But you know what?
Brutal
It's a good
honesty.
point to make because you have to start somewhere.
you
and Rhea
do.
says that
You
all the
do.
time.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you're just going to be stuck on this is what I want and it's not.
You're
it's
never
not
gonna buy.
realistic,
You're never
you
gonna
may
buy.
never buy a house.
And-
so you have to start and just make it yours.
So I will tell a little story on Amber and both of our first houses are actually in the same neighborhood. They were both corner lots. They are a block apart as like here and here. They're the opposite ends of the block. Yeah. And so when we were looking for homes for her, one of the things I told her is I said, this isn't your forever house. This is not going to be the house you live in for 10 years. But if you can make it work and you can get it a little bit nicer than it is, it was a bank-owned home. And so unfortunately, some of the things that, you come with a bank-owned home, like gross carpet or things like that. We got all that out. We were able to get the hardwood refinished and get some of the plumbing redone. But the house she bought had good bones. And so that was the big thing is I came to her and I said, this has really good bones.
Yeah.
So let's see what
and
we can do to make it.
Yeah. Because sometimes it's not easy for
No.
people to see that.
No.
Yeah.
Sometimes you look at it and you go, ew. Yeah.
Sometimes I go to houses and
we
I'm
will-
like,
I'm not going in that basement.
For the sake of the podcast, we will not go into what Amber's house looked like, but it was gross.
But you've
With a
clearly
capital
fixed it up
G.
and you're living in it.
Yes.
And life is good.
Yes.
We're having a great time.
Good. Well, thank you both
Thank
for
you
coming
guys.
on.
Yeah,
How can
absolutely.
people find you if they want to learn more?
We are on Facebook, Instagram, the artist formerly known as Twitter, and Snapchat, and I do believe we have a TikTok. It's very inactive, but you can find us on any of there. We also have a website, True Troupe, TRUETROUPE.com. You can email us at truetroupe@gmail.com. You can call us. Our box office number is 307-287-7917. Sorry.
Awesome.
That's a lot of seven.
I know. I'm mixing up my phone number with that one, so we'll provide that for Lindy and for
Yeah, we can put it.
Just come find us at our Hamlet.
Yeah,
production.
you can always find
Yes.
us. Yeah, we will be on the plaza as the featured nonprofit the 31st, and we'll also be at Choo Choo Moo on the
August
3rd.
1st,
So,
August 2nd,
yep,
holiday party.
you've got a lot of
Then,
opportunities. Come find
6:30
us.
and 1:30.
If you forget and you happen to be on the haunted trolleys and you go, hey, yeah, come up to us afterward. There's always people who do that too.
Once you're done fighting.
Yeah, yeah.
Once they're done fighting.
Honestly, yes. So,
Awesome.
yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you both for
Thank
coming
you
on.
guys.
This
Yeah,
has been
absolutely.
so much fun. I knew it was
Absolutely.
going to
Thank
be.
you so much.
Yes. And for all of our listeners, as you know, Lindy and I are realtors here at Peak Properties. So if you're looking to buy or sell, we'd love to help you with that. You can find us at sellcheyenne.com, as well as all of our social media channels and Beyond the Front Door podcast on YouTube, as well as your favorite podcast platform. Be sure to hit the subscribe button so that we know that you're there. And we hope you have a really great day.
Yay.
Awesome.